YouTubers, this is Merrix here again with a new movie review. As you know, that I did a game review this week called Captain America Super Soldier, I think. Yes, that's how it was. So this one is going to be of the movie Captain America the First Avenger. Why didn't they just call it Captain America the First Avenger of the game? Because it's too long, so they just changed it to Super Soldier. But it's not the movie game, it is... You all saw the review. Some of you might have. You might just watching this for the hell of it. But the part of this movie that caught my attention was the beginning. It doesn't take place in our time. It takes place in World War II. I thought it would have been they found him in the ice. They went through an adventure with him there, all that stuff, because it's supposed to set up for the Avenger movie, which I saw. I actually liked it. But it was just the whole gap between battles or gap between confrontations that came along. But anyway, the story of this movie is about Captain America, Steve Rogers. Before he becomes a super soldier, he is no more than this tall, super skinny, and he has applied for the Army many, many times, and they denied him because he has over 10 medical conditions, of course, because he's skinny, and he's not very athletic, and he can get his butt kicked at any time. But the movie starts off with him and his buddy going in to try and get into the Army. His buddy gets in, he doesn't. They go celebrate for his buddy with a couple girls, and even the girls are like, we don't want to hang out with him, he's too little, because he's like a little kid. That was good special effects by whoever made this movie to make Chris Evans look a lot smaller than he actually is. He's like a little bit taller than me, and he's like down here. But movie continues along. Eventually someone gives him a chance to go in, and they said he has a huge health risk. If something happens to him, they're not liable for it. Understandable. They're not going to take the heat if he gets hurt. But the movie continues along, and you find out that a scientist there is getting ready to choose someone for a super soldier project. And to test the courage that all the people have in the front lines, they take a group of men that are training out in the open, with Steve Rogers being there, and they throw a dummy grenade, I was about to say live, a dummy grenade out to see who had the most courage. Everyone jumped away except for Steve Rogers. He jumped on top of the grenade and told everyone to get out of the way. And then Tommy Lee Jones' character, who happens to be like, I think the general or colonel or something, he's like, well, he's still skinny. Or still needs a sandwich. They make fun of his weight and all that stuff throughout that entire part while he's there. So Steve Rogers is chosen to be the next super soldier. The next scene kind of reminded me of X-Men Origins, where Wolverine get the adamantium put in him. Steve was put into this machine where you can't even see his face anymore, or anything of him, and they inject him with many needles, and it's excruciatingly painful. He screams out. They're about to shut it down, like, oh, he can't handle this, don't do this. He yells out, yes, keep going, I can do this. A few minutes later, he comes out. He's big, bulky dude, tall as all hell, and they have their Captain America now. The problem is, throughout a couple parts of the movie, he's Captain America, but the gimmick. He's not the actual Captain America. He's playing a gimmick America who's pretty much just promoting the war against Germany and everybody like that. But eventually, some of his buddies get caught in the action, and no one's willing to go in there and save them. So he goes in by himself to save them from Hydra, who turns out to be the bad guys in the movie, and also a different part of another organization that's not a part of Germany. They're a bunch of Germans, but they have ulterior motive, which is to use the power of the gods, which is somewhat featured in Thor. Not the power itself, but, well, yeah, the power itself. Odin's power. So, movie goes on. You find out that the bad guy of Hydra turns out to be Red Skull, who's played by Agent Smith from The Matrix. I can't recall his name right now. Anyone could put a comment below and tell me who his name was. I'll look at it right afterward because it's probably going to be racking on my mind right now. But movie continues on. He does several different missions which they use as montages. That's where I believe the game is at, in one of those montages. They don't add everything to it. And then they get into this train area where Bucky is thrown off and is killed. Bucky, who is Captain America's sidekick from the comics, who I guess was supposed to be like a little kid or something. I didn't read any of the comics. But the finale of the movie is where Captain America is on this big airship fighting the Red Skull inside of it. And there's nuclear bombs on it. And when he defeats the Red Skull disappears into this other dimension with the power of Thor, or Odin, which makes me believe that he was going to be in the Avengers. Spoiler, he wasn't. That's the only spoiler that you're going to get of the Avengers for right now until it comes on DVD. Once it comes on DVD, fair game. But then Captain America talks to his sweetheart, who turns out to be like the person who recruited him for all this crap, and tells her that the only way that he's going to be able to save everybody is taking this to the ground. So he takes the plane straight into the icy water and is frozen. 2012 comes along, or whatever year the Avengers takes place in, and they pick him out, but they don't show that part. They did at the beginning of the movie where they found him. They found his shield or something like that. Then the next part of the movie, the last part of the movie, he wakes up in what he thinks is 1945 or 42 or something. But it turns out to be a hoax created by Nick Fury. He escapes, goes out into New York, and sees his all new surrounding. Then he's told what happened. At the end of the movie, the credits run, and at the very end, there's always a secret ending in all the character Avenger movies. Even at the end of the Avengers, it's retarded, but it's like the last minute and a half where they're not really doing anything but sitting there eating burgers. But spoiler there too. Sorry. But the end of the movie is Steve standing there punching a punching bag, and he lunges one more time and punches the bag off. And I think it was either Nick Fury or Tony Stark, one of the two, come in and ask if they hand him a dossier talking about being an Avenger. So, there's your movie. My rating, I would actually give it a 4 out of 5. I like superhero movies. I like the event Captain America the best, to tell you the truth, next to Iron Man 1 and 2. Iron Man 1 took a little while to get to the point. Iron Man 2 was awesome. Captain America was awesome. Thor was way too slow. You know, all of the movie, he doesn't even have his powers. He's just pretty much there with Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings and whoever the older guy was, who played in Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, and 3 as Will's father. Or maybe it was just 2 and 3. It was 2 and 3. They mentioned, you know. All right, so Captain America, the first Avenger, the movie, gets a 4 out of 5. Bill Merrix, signing out.